Minutes early, so about 3 minutes early. I'm just gonna play a little bit here. I've never done this before, and I'm playing on my. I believe this is a $29 guitar. This is just the launch video for Learn to Play Guitar during our quarantine. So if you are looking at this video like a decade later, we are in the middle of a quarantine. Definitely in the United States, but globally because of a COVID-19, it's a virus, coronavirus, that is wreaking havoc and causing a lot of people to get sick. So if you are joining us, welcome, comment here. We haven't started yet. I'm still a couple minutes early. So chime in when you get here. I might just play a little bit. Comment what you want to hear. You want to hear some Spanish music? Or I don't know. This is some Bach Barre, which I don't know the whole thing. And then there's also like Strum and Burn songs. Time. So I'm not sure where you're joining us, but if you're here, comment on YouTube, and we will get rolling here shortly. I've got 1 thumbs up. That's awesome. Thank you, dude. Guitar during quarantine. Did I spell that right? Of course I didn't. So I'm going to spell check that. There you go. I just commented for you. So we've got 5 people on. Give you just another like 30 seconds. Welcome to live things, lots of videos that I've uploaded, but this is brand new for me. And yeah, so welcome. So this is going to be new to all of us. And if you are a beginning guitar player, have never played guitar before, this is going to be perfect for you. So a little bit later. So first thing that you may want to do is just subscribe to this YouTube channel, which my username is Bryan Keith Nelson. If you subscribe to that, then you'll catch everything. And here's what we're going to go through tonight, just in a very short. And again, you don't need a guitar. We're just going to take a tuner maybe on the first session. Later on, you want those things. Things that you're not going to need are like a material book for this, even though I'll probably send out some digital notes. Like structure of what our sessions are going to be. This is going to be like maybe 5 or 6 sessions that we're going to do. So, but then maybe join us for 3, 4, 5, and 6, or whatever we're going to do here. So, and then I'm going to talk about not doing this alone, what that means, even for me. I'm not going to do this totally alone. Explain that later. And that's about it. That's all that tonight we're going to cover. So, you okay if I jump in here? All of you are going to comment and say, that's amazing. Missy! Hello, good to see you. Where are you at these days? Maybe you'll comment later as I go, and I'll read it here. So here is where I'm going to jump in, okay? The first thing is this. Originally, how this whole thing got started is I actually was going to, hey, Bryan, yeah, let's do this, brother. Although I've heard you play already, and you're pretty good. So I heard your family might be joining it, which is awesome. So yeah, so how this guy use, are you using Greg's guitar? Oh, maybe. All right, Missy, you live an hour north of home. That's awesome. That's really good. Okay, so I had a guitar class all lined up, and actually it was going to be, I had 8 seats. They were going to pay like pretty cheap. Excuse me. I'm not sick. I'm recovering from pneumonia like weeks ago, so I'm totally fine. And I had 8 seats. They were almost all filled, and then all this quarantine COVID-19 stuff happened. So Steve Stockman, good to see you. And good to have you joining us from out east. It's awesome. And then, so when quarantine happened, I'm like, I provide something and get people off the ground. And then we can do guitar classes later in person. That would be for pay. So this is going to be totally free. And we might set up like a donation type thing later, but that's kind of how I got started with that guitar class, and then it got canceled. So also, this is the whole goal is to make it so that you and your families don't go crazy. Maybe this will fill a little bit of find kind of a new balance. So that's the whole point. Hey, a quick 60-second story. How did I get started with playing guitar? Believe it or not, when I graduated college, I did not know how to play guitar at all. I didn't know how to do any chords or play along an orchestra or a band. And I'm like, what's wrong with the guitar players? Like, why can't they play in the key of E flat? Like, that's great for trombone, right? Or B flat. What's wrong with the guitar players? And then we wanted to start to play guitar in the church that I was at. We wanted to do kind of more modern stuff. So I picked up the guitar and went to a buddy of mine. Jason Young was his name. Shout out to the Young family from Pennsylvania. And all of a sudden I learned, oh, I'm not an amazing player. Like, I'm not a shredder like some of my friends are. I can't play amazing classical pieces like my friends are. I'm like pretty average when it comes to guitar playing. And so what I'm hoping to do is just pass on to you guys what some people passed on to me, this whole guitar world, which really is a lot of fun. You can take a guitar with you wherever you go. You don't have to plug into anything, and pretty much you can make music, and it's a lot of fun to do solo and with other people. So, all right, you ready to jump into how to prepare? I'm going to show you a couple of different guitars here. And if I didn't mention already, you might want to just subscribe to Bryan Keith Nelson. Again, that's Bryan with a Y. Bryan Keith Nelson at YouTube, and that way as videos come out, you'll catch all of it. So the neck is like a baseball bat, but it's very easy on the tips of your fingers. Now, this guitar was like $29 at Kansas Guitar Exchange. Shout out to, I think it's Rick in Topeka, Kansas. He sold this to me, and honestly, I just pick it up. It's not going to work. This would be considered what I'd say a cheap guitar, but it plays. I mean, it totally plays fine. Guitar that's considered, it's still kind of considered cheap, but here's a Fender. It's made by Fender. And I'll tell you what I like about this guitar. It's an F, the model is, and I can put this in some notes that I'll submit later, FA 135 CE. What I like, you can see this on the camera. Right here, there is a tuner that I can turn on. And it's great because it's a built-in tuner. And you can also, it had want to go acoustic. So for $100, a good deal like you might find online with the big box stores. But for about $150, you can get this, and it's totally fine. Jack in on that model. So $29, $150, and then this is what I would call, it's not cheap, it's not middle grade. This would be on a more expensive. Now, there is stupid expensive, okay? And this is not stupid expensive, but this would be considered, I would say, expensive when it comes to acoustic guitars, especially if you're just starting out and you don't need this. But this is a Taylor guitar. It's a 314. Is it a CE? Yeah, 314, like 46. So again, same thing, but it's going to be super in tune, very nice to play, very comfortable. It's not like the baseball bat on the classical guitars, but they're a baseball bat on purpose. So classical guitar would be great to learn on. This $150 one would be good to learn on. And this is, I think, about $1,000 when I got it. And you need to spend $1,000 on a guitar. Okay, so that covers. If you have a guitar that has old strings, you're probably going to break a string when you first start playing. And so you can also break a guitar quite a while. Tuning a guitar in advance of the first session is going to be super critical. Okay, so if you don't know how to tune a guitar, there are tons of YouTube videos on how to do this. I'm going to post maybe my favorite one for y'all. And because I don't need to recreate that for you. But it's very important that you show up before you start watching the video, either live or broadcast later. Not fun to your ear and to your cats. Just not a good idea. So here's the other thing that you want to do to prepare. Okay, prepare. You need to put it in your calendar. All right, put it in your calendar. This is going to be more fun together if we can comment along. It kind of encourages you to, if it's on your calendar every week at the same time, then you're more like encouraged. So you want to put it in your calendar. Here's the deal. When are these going to be? That's the big question. So I'm going to put a poll together, a poll on the Facebook page, probably kind of doing these sessions when most of the people are available to do it right in the moment. And what'd be awesome about that is we have a lot of people, and the more people and the more you share with this with other people to join you, friends, family, coworkers, you can ask questions as we go. And I might not super necessary. I'm not going to cover the tuner thing right now. I'll do that maybe in another video. You can either do a tuner on the guitar or buy an extra one. But if you don't have one, don't worry about it. You can tune to a video that I will post the link to. And subscribe. If I haven't mentioned, I think I have. So hopefully I have not been that annoying person that says keep subscribing to Bryan Keith Nelson at YouTube. Okay, structure the class. Here's how the structure of the class is going to be fun as we all enter in to the beginning time. And I'm going to welcome you. And then each session is going to build on itself. So the majority about transitioning from chord to chord. At the end, we might get to some of the more advanced chords. Do I even dare get to bar chords? Maybe. But I'm going to try to do this most on the basic level, but then throw in some intermediate stuff. And so the majority of the lessons structure-wise are going to be about the guitar. And then I'm probably going to talk a little bit about how you should practice, keeping it fun, keeping it quick throughout the week, kind of giving you some tips of, now, we just learned this. Here's what you need to do tomorrow when you pick up the guitar for a few minutes, 3 times. It's important. I mean, this is not just about music. This is about life. And especially during a time like right now, it's pretty crazy that we're, what is it like to make mistakes by yourself? What is it like to make mistakes in front of a group and other people? What is it like to play with integrity? What does that mean? How to practice and develop good habits. How to not develop bad habits and then unlearn something you've learned. And what does that mean just in life? Not just necessarily music, but how does that apply to life? And I know it's only gonna be 5 minutes of like the 35-minute session, but for some of you, that might be like the most important part of all of this. So again, this might be a little bit more than just guitar, and you'll have to, I'm not apologizing for this, but because I'm a creative arts leader in my local church, I'm going to talk probably about more stuff than just guitar. So yes, I'm a spiritual guy, and yes, I actually have 3 kids. My oldest is a freshman in high school. His name is Josh, and I have a daughter, Kayla. She's an 8th grader. And then I have my younger son, Tyler. He's in 5th grade, and they're all doing online school, probably like a lot of you right now. And so I asked one of them if they'd be willing to maybe come with me on this journey. So for some of these sessions, I'm going to have a student just like you. They don't know, and they're going to be learning along with you. And they may even ask some questions. So that's going to be my 8th grade daughter, Kayla. She's agreed to do this. So lots of grace to her. This is probably an uncool thing to do with dad, but it's awesome that she's willing to do it. So the thought here is this is going to be better together. So I want to encourage you, if you're going to be learning, excuse me. Again, I'm not sick. I'm getting over it. I don't know. if you're a really young person, maybe a parent, that someone that had signed up for the class, it was actually a grandfather and his granddaughter had signed up to take my class that I had to cancel because of COVID-19 quarantine stuff. And I just thought that was awesome that you have this generational thing going, a family thing going. So maybe you want to grab a friend and say, hey, let's watch the video together, learn it. And then maybe a couple days later, you Zoom them, Google Hangout them, FaceTime them, just call them and say, how's it going? Are your fingers bleeding too? I mean, that's your fingers are not going to bleed, but it's just better together. So be thinking about that. Hey, I'm about ready to wrap up. So if you have any comments, put this on here. Chloe, good to see you. Channel, Bryan Keith Nelson. That's with a Y, Bryan Keith Nelson. And the quick summary of my background and how I was not a guitar player until I was like 23 after college. We talked a lot about how to prepare the 3 guitars, how you can be stupid expensive. You don't need to do that. And then the toy guitars, you don't want to do that at all. Stick with cheap or probably middle grade at this point. Some things that are nice to have, you don't have to. And then we talked about the structure of what this will look like and then to not do this alone. That's what we talked about. So thanks for joining. If you have any questions before I go, I'm about ready to send you off. Do you want to hear, I'll tell you what, I'll play a little something here at the end. I'm going to grab my classic guitar. So there's all kinds of playing. And one of the most challenging kinds of playing, and this is not going to be a part of the sessions, this would be more of like private lesson type stuff, is finger pick style. So when you, on a classical guitar, do something like, this is called Grandpa's Lullaby. I can't remember who the author is. I'm so sorry. Grandpa's Lullaby. And I'm going to make plenty of mistakes. Again, I'm not the world's greatest guitar player. All right, here it goes. How about I start that again? That's the A section. And then the B section goes something like. So pretty piece, that's finger pick style. We're gonna learn all the basic chords. G, that's really out of tune. C, this is the standard C chord. D, A, E, E minor. Oh, I like that one. E minor, A minor, D minor. We might learn some bar chords. We might learn some fancy bar chords at the end. Anyway, so we'll kind of go through that step by step, and we're going to take it slow. So join the first session. Look for the poll on Facebook for what night and time. We're going to take the most popular night and time that also works with me and my family. And invite a friend. Send them to the YouTube link to subscribe. And just stay in touch with what we're going to do. All right. Hope you guys are not going quarantine crazy as much as my family is, because we are. And just know that you're not alone in that. We're learning a new rhythm. Get it? Rhythm music. And so this is totally new to us. And we're making mistakes as we go along as parents and family. But we're hoping to do some good with this, not just you learning to play guitar, but maybe we can help out. There's pharmacists, people that are, they cannot shut down because they're keeping people alive. And the best thing you can do is to stay home to save a life. And if we can do some good by taking up some of your time to do this and maybe raising a little bit of funds, we'll set that up later. I'm not sure how we're going to do that.